Okay, I got the red smoke.
Gun runs north to south, west of the smoke, west of the smoke.
Okay, copy. West of the smoke. I'm looking at danger close now.
Come on with it, baby. Give it to me. I need it. Get cleared hot.
Copy, cleared hot.
So I was so pissed because in Omaha, and my buddy Scott does like media for fun, but he's my assistant director. I brought everybody in, and we're going to start doing like moving out of the clinch, and we're going to be using SIG guns. So I was like, listen, we treat all weapons as if they are
SIG 320s.
And that's what I said. And everyone's dying laughing. And this is like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And then someone just posted a video of that like yesterday. And I'm like, we're late to the party.
Dude,
I'm like, why did we post that?
How fucked is SIG?
Fucked.
And not only that.
That video, that link you shared the other day?
Dude.
Wow.
5 times in a row. Yeah, a millimeter a play, so you're up against the wall. And I can just think of so many situations, whether it's just a holster with one screw too tight that's grabbing on the trigger guard. Mm-hmm. Like a millimeter of fucking...
perfect, right? So you're always going to have that. Oh my God, it's so crazy.
And people are like, this. Why does he have a screw in there? I'm like, you idiots. The screw is holding the millimeter. And oh, by the way... And unless you finish that squeeze, there is no way that fucking gun should go off. Yeah. And it was crazy because the first one, right, he rattles the back of the slide after working his way through the front. But like the 5th time, he just sandwiched it and it went off. Today's episode is brought to you by Montana Knife Company. You guys know how awesome this brand is. You know what they make. You should, I hope, in the name, Montana Knife Company, right? It's kind of in there. I'm going to head over to their website because... like I said in the previous ad read, we're in hunting season now. So let's start talking about hunting prep. The first thing on their rotating banner, my homie here, Dudley, a new Triumph Pro designed by John Smith and John Dudley. Dudley is the one who got me into archery. John is the one who got me a little bit interested in knives. So it looks like that comes out. Yep, that'll be available right before this episode drops. Good luck getting one of those. The Jackstone, Canadian belt knife, interesting description. I didn't know they were allowed to have stabby things. Culinary sets, and yes, here we are hunting. Blaze orange. If you're a hunter, you know that orange is often a requirement, depending if you're in archery or rifle season. Of course, there's a story behind every orange vest that is required. Let's not confuse these orange knives, though, with counting against the square inches you need in a hunting environment. But these are just awesome. This is just like in the hunting mindset. This is a flare piece, if you will. But I'm going to also call it an essential. They have an amazing selection of hats, T-shirts, soft goods. And if you scroll down, I mean, the ridiculous nature of the different versions of these knives, we can just click on View All. And I know they're getting ready to launch some new blade designs themselves. I can't talk too much about that other than to say they're on the horizon. A brand 120 miles south of where I'm at, doing the absolute best they can to bring production back to the United States. Bringing jobs to Missoula, paying a living wage, lifetime warranty, sharpen your knives for you. If you've got any issues, send it back in. They're going to make it right. MontanaKnifeCompany.com. For the hunters out there, specifically for this ad read today, think about that blaze orange stuff. Like I said, it doesn't help you with the orange required, but it's a nice flare piece. It's an essential flare piece. Back to the show. And then there's the post from SIG, what was it, a year ago, first sentence. He's like, it says, "This ends today."
Yeah.
Under no circumstances will a SIG fire without the trigger fully depressed.
That didn't age well.
They're so fucked.
But they have other models that aren't terrible guns.
I carry a 365. I love it. The 365 is fucking spectacular.
Why don't they make the 365 in a duty-sized gun?
That's it. I mean, that's it. Dude, I mean, at this point...
At this point, people don't want huge guns fucking anyways. Like, all right.
Could almost be a fucking...
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
And it fits more hands than the...
This is a fucking 21+1 mag.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
For me, I would carry this because I carry a 19 because, as you can see, I have skinny hands.
But, dude, doesn't that thing fit fucking good in your hand?
It does. It actually does.
21+1. Like...
That is insane.
So that would probably be a little bit small for an agency to say that's a duty pistol, right? But yeah, they could.
They could probably make the slide a little bit longer, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, they could put it to whatever it wants. Like, but this thing is bomb-proof.
Yeah.
The 320.
Dude, I know.
I don't understand.
And they had the Air Force and the Army.
It's going to be everybody at this point. that video with the guy with the
They had the contracts for the military.
They have the contract for the entire military.
Yeah. That's a lot. Like that's a lot of money for them to drop because it's not like they can just refurbish these guns.
No,
they just got to be like, we just need to step up and be like, hey, we're re-engineering these. And
but what do you do with the ones that have already sold? Do you buy them back?
I don't know if you buy them back or could you buy them back and like somehow recycle the material?
Depending on where, well, the other option could be depending on where the mechanical issue is. When it sounds like it's in the upper portion of the slide, I guess you could have people, to make sure that the old ones aren't out there, you could have them send their old upper in and send them a new one. But
that doesn't have,
But at this point, I mean,
they got to do something.
How many LEOs do you know that are fucking right now reconsidering their purchase of the fucking 320?
Yeah. Well, we could like sell them like knockoff price to like China and
they're not going to buy our shit.
Countries.
This fucking China's not going to buy them.
Sell them to our enemies.
God, just throw them out of an airplane in Afghanistan.
Yeah. Drop them down there.
God. So GBRS guys, I mean, they get a large check from them every month, though.
Sure they do.
Demonstrably, that weapon has a platform has a problem. I saw a video of, it looked like 6 or 7 officers in the lobby, and they were cuffing somebody, and a dude's in his holster. His hands were clearly nowhere near it. How is that not enough for it to be like, we're done here?
Just the backpack with the school resource officer female, the more recent one?
No.
She throws her backpack around, and it just bumps the side of the holster and it shoots her in the leg.
Now, though, that we've seen the video of how the guy was making it fire, it's that manipulation. Yes. And also, again, like, this is the difference, right? Like, that other SIG, like this thing, I guess there's a little bit, but, dude, that 320 was rocking back and
forth.
Dude,
he actually used his measure meter, and that thing was like, there was significant space there.
Why are the tolerances so shitty? I don't understand. I was never issued that gun. I actually own a couple. I looked in the safe. I bought one for my wife. It's going to stay in the safe. Let me tell you what I'm doing this weekend. It involves a screw and no rounds in the thing. But I think that thing is staying in the safe for the foreseeable future.
I think I have a course coming up in SIG in March, so like I hope they don't completely fold. Because I like their mat room, and it's cool. And I'm not a fan of certain SIGs. Like, I'm a Glock guy because that's just what I'm comfortable with.
Glocks are great.
But, like, I am not opposed to shooting a SIG. Like, my buddy shoots, is it 19? No, he shoots the, what's the larger SIG model?
226?
226, I think.
Yeah, that's what they used to issue us.
Okay, and that's what he likes.
Yeah.
But, again, he also has a staccato and
I tell people
else, like,
go with whatever feels comfortable
Yeah.
because people ask me, well, what caliber should I shoot? I'm like, listen, you could spend the rest of your life arguing with people about what caliber is great.
Yep.
Go to what I tell people is go to a gun store or a gun range that rents guns and literally just pick up some guns and start with what feels good in your hand.
Yeah.
Like for me, I actually don't like 1911s, which is people will lose their mind. And I'm not saying that they're not awesome. I actually own some 1911s because they look cool. It doesn't fit well in my hand. Glocks fit great.
Yeah.
SIGs, I love the way that 365 sits in my hand.
That's the first time I've held a 365 in a long time. So that fits really
nice. That's a bigger one. That's the fuse.
Okay.
I don't know what it is fused between, but I will tell you, as a fan of SIG, the only thing I would use a 320 for at this point would maybe be a framing hammer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Allegedly, or whatever I need to say to not get sued by SIG.
It's great.
I have no relationship with them. I buy all my guns.
Didn't they put out something not too long ago being like they suggest you don't carry one in the chamber? Did you read that?
It's very Israeli.
Yeah.
I've had some interesting conversations with those that are in full belief that as you come out of the holster, you need to rack and go. And I'm like, listen, it's your life.
Yeah.
You do what you want. But I'm sorry that this argument of, well, we are the best in the world and it works really well where we are, that falls short with me because tactics, I am not aware of them having a zip code that they are contained by. It either works or it doesn't.
Yeah.
And the best shooters I know are coming out of the holster hot.
Yes.
But again,
right.
Live your life how you want to.
When you need to go bang, it needs to go bang.
Oh, man. You start adding extra steps.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not here to tell people how to tactically live their life. You're the one on the other side of the door or approaching the vehicle. It's,
Yeah. It's crazy. That is insane.
What's crazy is what happened in New York.
That is insane.
Yes. What, you're not current LEO, are you? Or are you still?
So I retired April of 2023.
Okay. So you're recent LEO, though.
Yes.
The internet is ablaze with theories. It's funny, too. A lot of people are arguing. Maybe it's not funny, but it's just the way that it is. People have already reduced the argument down to whether or not the weapon used had a pistol brace or not, because it's this huge argument of what's a pistol and what's a rifle, because what if it's a rifle caliber but it has a pistol brace? And again, I'm not even going to enter into that.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
You showed me the picture yesterday evening.
Right, yeah.
And my first comment to you was, wow, my man is just walking through New York with what looks like an AR, just arm extended towards a building, and nobody seems to be responding to that.
There's one view that there's people on the other side of the street. There's tons of people. No one sees this.
Even if they did see it, for almost everybody, the move is to run anyway.
Yeah, nobody's moving.
But wild. And then you had the picture of his, it does seem to be legit that he had a Vegas CCW.
Yes.
Which a lot of people online are really confused about concealed carry permits and what it takes to get one.
Correct.
Montana, constitutional carry state. I think unless you have a felony or no heartbeat, they are required to. Actually, you don't even need one. You're just allowed to carry.
Yeah. So Florida just recently became the same where I live. So unless you have a conviction, I think it's either a misdemeanor or felony conviction, then you obviously can't. But
point being, the barrier to entry for a CCW not incredibly high.
No. And the thing with New York is New York City is one of the strictest areas that you're not allowed to carry concealed carry permits and guns. So there's no good guy stopping that. Like in Walmart, that happened a couple of days before that. The Walmart that was stopped by a guy that was a concealed carry guy. I think he was a former Marine or a retired Marine. Maybe it came out.
We might have to. Maybe he was.
I don't know.
What I will say is his weapons presentation
correct, yeah,
leads me to believe that it had been a while since he had been a Marine.
He had a little bit
older,
of the,
he had a little bit of the 90-degree cant to it, which I respect because you can assist it. You could add about 1 FPS downrange. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but also again, there's a difference between going through some firearms training and actually having to hold a live weapon at somebody. Things can come off the rails. I totally get it.
Yes.
So maybe in the moment he went with what he went with. But either way, yeah, he did stop that guy with the knife. And I have so many questions around that. One, the guy with the knife was clearly out to try to hurt people.
Correct.
But stopped as soon as a weapon was pointed at him. So he had – oftentimes it seems as if the people willing to do that maybe they're not thinking about it from the terms of I'm going to kill myself, but I'm going to have somebody else do it. They just seem to care a little bit less. They don't necessarily
that suicide by cop syndrome. That
he stopped, from what I can tell, pretty much on a dime.
Yes,
which is there he is.
Yeah,
yeah. There we go. Oh, well, hold on there. Go back.
That's a two-handed.
What is this thumb over the top? That is not going to feel good, sir.
No,
in 3, Michael, 2, 1, pause.
Oh.
Listen, I'm not going to judge it. You know why? He got the job done.
He stepped in, yep.
He got the job done. I will say this. For those of you who value the skin on your non-dominant hand, maybe rotate that a little bit more forward so it's facing the direction of the slide.
Don't put it there.
Don't put it there. Good for him for doing something.
Yeah.
But so look at the guy's posture with the knife. Why was he so willing to stab people? So I wonder what.
Can we see the knife in his hand, Andy? Do we see it, or do we know if he maybe doesn't have it anymore?
I don't know.
So I think that would be my number one question. Would be like, does he have the?
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, it's in his hand still.
It looked like a little folder too. It leads me to believe, and I'm not advocating that people necessarily do this, but if he had been confronted by somebody in the store, maybe not even armed, but guess what? They sell in Walmart baseball bats.
Yeah.
Or go to the camping aisle, maybe a nice hatchet.
Sure.
I see your knife, I raise you a hatchet.
Yeah.
I don't think they sell a mace there because that would be dope. Right.
I haven't seen maces. They definitely sell hatchets. I bought a hatchet at Walmart before.
I wonder what would have happened if you'd been confronted by somebody in the store. And again, I'm not trying to give advice to anybody, but he stopped on a dime there. It appears as if he's folding the knife up and then backing up.
Correct.
I'm just curious.
I don't know off the top of my head stats for being confronted with weapons other than firearms.
Yeah.
But most active shooters, when they're confronted initially by like police or by a firearm, that's when either they kill themselves or
Yeah, I was going to say, usually that's when they turn it on themselves, right?
So it's like the sooner someone can act, and again, disclaimer is like don't act if you don't have the skills to not get injured.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get anybody to rush into getting a hospital ride or a casket ride.
But if you have the skills or if you have that A personality where you're going to jump in, like the sooner someone on an act of violence, whether it's an active shooter, a guy with a knife, just an act of violence, the sooner someone jumps in, usually the sooner that situation resolves itself.
What I deeply respect here is, let's say the man on the right, let's guess his age, right? We're not going to be judgy, but I'm going to say 120.
He's definitely over 80.
But he's there.
Yeah.
He's
ready.
We have some people probably closer to our generation, but my man is still up there. I don't know what he's going to do, but I respect that he's at the front lines.
That's the generation that is.
He's the
They're
generation.
few and far in between right now, unfortunately, and it's kind of like where they've, and I don't like to get political, but like they've tried to take masculinity out of the male, and the masculinity in men is what has brought us freedom in this country. And obviously, I'm 100% for what women do. I don't want to do, and they have their benefits to what they do. But like, we need more people that are trained or ready to step up in these situations. That's what we need in society. We become weak as a society, and unfortunately, it's caused a lot of problems.
You know that guy has like the grandpa tone of voice who could probably disarm an act, be like, you put that down, son. And they, oh, okay. You know, he's like the stern grandfather that you're going to listen to.
You're right. And I guarantee you, in his head, he thinks that, like, if that dude doesn't pull a gun, like, he can probably disarm this guy. Like, he, in his head, probably thinks he's going to win that fight. Well, and maybe he can. I don't know.
Depending on the level of methamphetamine currently going through the man with a knife body, he might be able to.
You're right. My dad's 83.
Yeah.
So he was in the military for 8 years. He did a ton of time in Germany at Checkpoint Charlie on the Berlin Wall. He's 83. He thinks he's 50 still. Like, we have to, like, go take ladders away from him so you won't be climbing on things, right? Like, he still thinks that he's, like, and I get it now. Like, I didn't used to get it.
Yeah.
But I'm 47, going to be 48.
Same.
And when I'm grappling, I think I'm 24.
Yeah.
Still. And
until
then
cool
after,
down.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, then you cool down. My dad is...
I'm not 24 anymore.
My dad is 78, and my children will sass him a little bit, which he honestly... I mean, Michael has heard, I don't know, countless stories. They never end because he just continuously does stuff. But he'll sit there, you better watch out or this old man's going to get you. And then I'm like, you just had to rock 6 times to get out of that chair. Yeah. Put it down. You know what I mean?
Never underestimate the power of the old man, my dad used to say.
Well, yeah, but the problem is I could go stand at arm's reach with a finger on his shoulder. Yeah. Like, old man can't get out of the chair. You'd be sitting there swinging like a child.
But they're going to try. They mentally have the ability to tell themselves that I can still do this.
Plus, if he did, you know, after rocking a half a dozen times, if he did get the momentum to stand up unassisted, he might be trouble.
You're right.
Yeah.
You said yesterday we were talking, and I can't remember what in the context of, I think it was of like just jiu-jitsu, but you were like, and I said, you know, and that's the problem is most police officers aren't trained. They're not trained well. They're not like
soldiers
robots.
don't know how to fight.
And then you said like the same with like soldiers, right? And it's just something that society doesn't understand. Cops are insanely undertrained. The equation that they have built right now to train cops is just a failure. You can't train someone for 6 to 8 months and then expect them to be good and not keep training them.
Yeah. The question becomes, whose responsibility is it? Does it become the department? So they graduate their academy, they end up badged up, guns up, they're on the street, they got their Batman, you know, utility belt. Whose responsibility is it? Is it the department or is it the individual officer?
So
I think the answer is probably both or a version of.
I think the answer should be both, right? If you're going to be a professional, and being a cop, you are in a profession, so you're a professional, you need to be held to a standard of that profession. Unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of cops, and I'm not putting anyone down, but this is just being honest, to like, standards in policing are so low that it's pathetic. And
Is there
actually
a nationwide standard?
No, and it's a danger to society. I look at a lot of body cam videos. I break them down all the time, all day long. And for me, it's like, I ask guys, like, would you want you to be showing up to back you up? Okay, one. And then two, I travel all the time. I'm not home to protect my family if someone breaks in. So the first cop showing up, I want to be, hoping that that person's got an above standard, or at least a high standard of training.
Do you think that departments realize what you're saying is true, or do they lie to themselves and say that we're good to go?
They lie to themselves. And I think they lie to themselves because of financial reasons and time. Time's a hot commodity no matter what we're doing. And where do we get time to train them continuously? Now, there are models. There are 10-hour shifts, but then you got to fight unions and stuff. There are 10-hour shifts where there's there's a lap, right? So one's on till 5, the other one's coming in at 4 or whatever. There's an hour of training. There's ways to do it. But how do we train people continuously without spending a ton more money, finding the time to, and then minimizing injury? Now, listen, anytime you train, there's a possibility of injuries.
For sure.
But people are training jiu-jitsu every day across this country, across this world, and the majority of them walk out of class every day uninjured, maybe a bump or bruise. There's a difference between being hurt and injured. And unfortunately, there's this culture in police that, like, if I get hurt, I'm getting 75%. I can retire 75%, right? So it's like, and that's probably untaxed. So you're probably making as much or more than you're making now. So people find ways to want to get hurt. People
That's
get
not
injured.
unique to the law enforcement profession.
And it's not.
That's not unique to any occupation that has the, I don't want to say financial incentive because that's not correct, that has the financial, what it's supposed to be is a safety net.
Sure.
Anywhere I've seen that.
It is supposed to be a safety net.
It is supposed to be a safety net. There are just, any occupation at the end of the day, you are just talking about people. There will be people who use a safety net as a catapult as opposed to what it's supposed to be for. And that impacts the rest of the people that aren't trying to do that. And I will say, I think it's the minority of people are looking to game the system like that, but it does have impact not only on everybody else, but the public optic as well. The money issue for law enforcement, it's going to cost money either way.
Yes.
So if somebody gets injured on the job, that's going to cost money. But also, if there's a use of force,
then you're going to get sued.
Yeah, Johnny 12 Donuts rolls up because you guys are cops, right? So you eat donuts. What would it be if it was firefighters? Johnny Duncan? What do firefighters get?
Well, they cook dinner every night and have sleepovers.
That's true.
My brother's a full-time fireman, and my dad used to do ride-alongs with me because he was like all gung-ho.
Yeah, but what do cops get? Because I have actually seen a cop in their cruiser pulling up to a Dunkin', and in my head I'm thinking, hey, dude, you and I both know that you all get made fun of for this.
Yes.
Don't do this. Don't do it.
There was a group of us that, like, we just refused to eat donuts. Like, one, I don't eat donuts hardly. I might have one maybe once or twice a year.
Dude, you only live once.
But
You gotta have one or two.
I would never eat donuts on duty.
But what do firefighters get made fun of? Because it's cops and donuts. What does the firefighter want?
I think
it's the cats and trees,
they
right?
get to sleep or cats and trees.
Yeah.
So, like, my dad would do ride-alongs with me. And so then at, like, the family gatherings, I would be like, Brock, Dad's doing a ride-along with me. He wants to know when he can do a sleepover with you. Right? Like,
it's accurate.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
And he would just be like, you took the wrong test.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
But so, okay, injured, that's going to be money. You realize that your officers need more training, or maybe they need different equipment, but you don't want to invest in it under the guise of money. A use of force incident occurs, like you said, you get sued. Then that's a money issue. Now, I don't know how insurance works in this. Do police departments have insurance?
No. So,
because I know there's qualified immunity.
There's qualified immunity, but that is subject to the circuit courts saying, hey, if this
You should unpack what qualified immunity is as well.
So qualified immunities mean they can't individually be sued.
You can't go after Jay.
Correct. You can't go after my personal belongings or ownings. But qualified immunity can be taken away.
They were talking about that in New York.
Right. But they also can be taken away in circuit court decisions. Like you'll look and they'll be like, okay, now this isn't up for qualified immunity, or it is, depending on whatever information they have up front. And this is going to be like, on the civil litigation side, if it is deemed justifiable, or at least like that's the question of. So they can say this is like the circuit courts. There's multiple different decisions that they can look at of saying, hey, they're going to have qualified immunity or not. They can look at taking that away.
So again, we're talking about money.
Yes.
It's going to cost.
Yeah, it always costs. It's going to cost more. The other thing is also is like...
Well, it's going to have a cost regardless of which path you take. Why wouldn't you invest in them early?
You're right. And that's the thing. This is the culture that's been built, right? You build this culture. I mean, law enforcement is one of the most unfit professions we have.
How is that possible?
It's mind-boggling.
I follow police posts.
Fitness is the foundation of everything.
I follow police posts. I'm not going to lie. When the guy takes off running, it's a 50-50. I'm cheering for him a little bit and a little bit for the cop too.
Yeah.
But when the cop takes off and you can tell that their 40 time is triple digits, then it's 100% I'm cheering for the guy.
See, he's gone. He's gone, right? And I used to always tell guys I would train or guys I worked with, like, if you lose sight of this guy, he's gone. If you work in an urban environment. Now in a rural environment, it's easier because there's less places to go hide. But if you lose him in an urban environment, fences, houses every 2 feet, like they're gone, right? You can't lose sight of those guys. And it's funny because there was a challenge on Instagram going around like the last 6 months of like the foot pursuit challenge. Did you see that?
No. This sounds horrible. This sounds like how people get tased and they...
So it was like, I saw it with like a police officer chasing a fireman.
Okay, that's a little bit better. I like this.
I saw police officers chasing their spouse. Right? So it was like the foot pursuit challenge.
Yeah.
And I had made a post like, so on Twitter, or not Twitter, on X now, whatever it's called. I went and like made like a little post and then I screenshotted it so I can put like one of my foot pursuits from my body cam and then put this on here. Like, people are busy doing foot pursuit challenges. Meanwhile, I was chasing down real suspects in foot pursuit challenges like on a weekly basis, basically, right?
Yeah, but you're actually in shape. How is policing or law enforcement one of the most unfit? How is this possible?
Because there's no standard. Again, so
how is that possible?
So the overwhelming majority of academies have a fitness standard to get in and graduate from. I don't know of one place that has a mandatory PT test on a yearly basis for a police department. I don't know one. Now, I'm not talking about like your SWAT team.
Yeah.
We're talking about the basic functions of patrol, the department as a whole.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for ours, we couldn't have a mandatory one, but they ended up doing like, hey, $750 if you sign up for, they would offer the PT test like so many days in October and September and November, and then if you passed it at the 50th percentile, then you get $750. So it was an incentive one, but
isn't the incentive I wear body armor and carry a gun to work?
That should be, right? That should be, along with I want to be a professional in what I'm doing.
Or maybe come home to my family, friends, and loved ones.
But again, this is the way society has moved and generations have moved from being like what we talked about, like with that old guy.
Yeah.
He wants to look good, fit, and shape. I want to be able to be like, I can fight and take care of my family, to I don't care. I'm going to wear this gun belt for 8 hours. I'm going to take it off and I'm going to be a normal person, which is fine. Be a normal person outside of work. And I don't think cops should live the job 24 hours. That's not healthy for them. But you need to be able to perform. If you're out of shape, you can't perform, right? So it doesn't matter how good your tactics are if your cardio stinks. Look at jiu-jitsu. You could be the most phenomenal practitioner in the world. If you take a year off because you have an injury and you come back and your cardio is a disaster.
It's going to be a rough open mat.
It's going to be a rough open mat, right? So like, fitness is that foundation for everything. And then on top of fitness is going to make our tactics better, because then we're going to be able to be more calm. We're not going to be out of breath. So it's like those two standards of, one, a fitness standard and a consistent training standard. And I'm not talking just about like jiu-jitsu or wrestling. And I'm even more on and we talked about this yesterday when we were rolling. Like, I have as much wrestling fundamentals as I do jiu-jitsu fundamentals. So I look at it as like grappling as a whole, especially for like combatives. It's grappling because we need to be able to be good on our feet, and we need to be able to be good on the ground. Now, on our feet, that's more wrestling than it is jiu-jitsu. If you go into most jiu-jitsu gyms, they suck on their feet. Right? So grappling mandatory, but it's not just grappling. Like, if I'm good at hands-on stuff and Andy has a gun pointed at me from 20 feet away, my grappling isn't helping me much here. Now, it might help me stay calm and make better decisions, but I also need to be able to move and present and process that tactic right away. So we got to be training continuously across the board in tactics. It's not just in one aspect. Now, I will say the overwhelming majority of uses of force in the United States are hands-on. So, and that is probably the area where we get the least amount of training.
I want to stop you there because I'm curious. Is that because oftentimes your job terminates with cuffing somebody, and it seems like right when the bracelets hit the wrists is when people decide they don't want to participate in the evolution anymore? Sure.
If you have those 1 to 3%ers, they're going to fight the whole way in, fight getting them out of cuffs.
Some just start though right when you like they're turned around, they feel one of the hands get controlled, and they're like, nope, I don't want to play anymore.
So if they're not combative right away or resisting right away, the highest percentage of time they become like resistant is on first touch. Okay. But once you get cuffs on,
that's a different story.
Yeah. Most people are like done. Now you'll get the comment like, oh, if I didn't have these cuffs on, you just, you don't argue with them.
Like you just had them off a second ago, buddy.
Yeah. And like, you just be like, yes, you're right. Like then I don't got to just calm them down because somebody else is going to have to deal with them. I don't need to work them up anymore. But you get that comment all the time, or I used to get the comment of like, if I had that gun and if you didn't have a gun and badge, like I would whoop your ass,
cool story.
And I would be like, you're probably right, but let's not get you another charge. Let's go in. Now there was one time when someone said that, and it was deserving, but I looked him in the face and I said, this gun and badge is saving you right now. Right? Because I'm a professional at this point. I have a gun and badge and I have to be a professional. I can't just go kick your ass if I wanted to kick your ass, but the overwhelming majority of the time is I'm not riling this guy up for the next person that's got to handle him. I know as arresting this guy, he's getting handed off to corrections officers, to other personnel.
City jail, whatever it may be.
That have to deal with him. Right? So if they want to like think they can kick my butt, okay, cool. You can. As long as that calms him down and it makes him happy. I don't got to fight this guy. I know I'm going to beat that guy up. He doesn't train. But so I don't need to. And I think that's where like guys that don't train actually like try to use their verbal commands and like they get people riled up because like they feel like they have to. But like I don't want to go hands on. We looked earlier, the guy that's on meth that hasn't showered for 5 days, maybe 2 weeks. I don't want to have to get connected to him where I have to have inside head position to control him well and stuff. I don't want to touch that dude. If he'll get into custody by saying that I would kick your ass if you didn't have a badge and gun, okay, you probably can, but let's not give you another charge, and that solves it, that's what I want to do.
For sure.
And that's probably because I'm comfortable in my skills. Right? If you're not comfortable in your skills, someone says that to you, they get more ramped up now, and now it just escalates the situation up.
Well, you have to have skills to be comfortable in.
Agreed.
If you take away, I've never understood, you guys work in an occupation where physically touching people is literally part of the job.
Yes.
I don't see how anybody who works in that career field doesn't want to be as good as possible at that particular range. In addition to the other skills, you have to touch people for your job. And like you said, if on first touch is the most likely time they're going to resist, you're in grappling range right there.
Right there.
Why would you not be incredibly proficient at that? Because if you're not, you're going to be reaching for your Batman tool belt real fast because those are the only tools that you have. And if you go with your non-lethal first, we've all have enough time on YouTube. Why does this not work on some people? And some people, it freaking... And
the taser.
Yeah, why doesn't... I mean, we're talking good probe strike, and the guy's like... Ah!
This is an easy explanation. I was a taser instructor for years. I've only tased 2 people in my life.
Yeah.
Because
hopefully one of them was Adam.
Obviously. No, but that could be my third.
Yeah. He wouldn't complain, probably, much.
Yeah, I've only tased 2 people in my life, and they were both, like, very interesting. But
did they go falling tree, or did they take it?
One went falling tree. it was a suicide guy staying out with a knife. And the last time they had this situation, the guy fled back into his house and held his mom, who was an old lady. Became a patrol hostage situation. And my buddy at the time, and still a good buddy of mine now, was a lieutenant. He ended up getting stabbed in it because obviously a hostage situation,
That's
right?
rough, yeah.
And he was on that call. That's called because that guy in New York, bail reform. He was out already, and we had this call again. And he had some more junior guys with him that first time, and he's like, I saw him and they had their guns out and they're talking. It's like a suicide by cop thing. So you're trying not to shoot the guy, but like if you have to, you have to. And I immediately just started to flank. And he started to flank with me because we didn't have to talk about it or tell this guy we were doing. We just read each other, right? So like I went less lethal because I saw 2 other guys with lethal, and I'm like, I'm going to get a shot to the back, but he's this big knife. And I didn't want him falling forward and landing on the knife and like maybe stabbing himself. So like I tried to wait till he put like his knife in a weird position, which worked. And then I tased him, and I got really good pro placement. So I got immediate lockup, which is we'll talk about in a minute. But he fell straight backward. And say like there's a stair, right? The corner of his hip hit the corner of the stair. So then after the 5 seconds goes off, we get his hands behind his back. He's screaming. We cuff him. We go sit him up, and he's like, I broke my hip. And we're like, sit up, dude. Like, you're fine, whatever. We called for medical. They're coming. And he's like complaining. We're like, yeah, right. He didn't break his hip. Well, we get called like a little while.
He broke his hip?
He broke his hip when he hit the side of the stair on the taser, right?
Better than taking your life in a really low moment.
Yeah, and we were under the same impression, my partner and I, or it was my lieutenant at the time, was like, that dude's not going back in the house. Last time we went back in the house, he held his mom at hostage with a knife. Like, we're not letting him get back in the house.
Yeah, there's no math in that equation that gets better by adding an additional person. Correct. Or persons.
Yeah, so that worked out. That was like the second time I tased a person, and I was like, okay, this is why I don't tase people, like whatever. Yeah. It worked, and it was the best answer at the time, right? Because otherwise you're going to probably have to shoot the guy. But taser, there's a big misconception that when you touch tase someone, that's only pain compliance. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if I touch tase you, it's just like a regular taser and I'm just tasing you and touching you. Probe placement. If I get both probes above the waistline, it's only affecting my upper body.
Oh, really?
And realistically, it's only affecting between the 2 probes. Okay?
Okay.
So now, if you get 2 probes above the upper body and it's inside my arms can still move, my legs can still move.
Is their torso locked up though?
No, because this is where the probe placement ends. Like say navel, chest. Now, say if I go chest, and in the front, you're not supposed to shoot above, like say the nipple line. Yeah. Okay. Say I go chest, thigh, and that's going to lock him up. Yeah. Because that locks up what they call the upper hemisphere and the lower hemisphere. So most of the time when you get taser failures, it's not actually the taser's failing. It's the probe placement is failing, and then it's the tactics following.
Can you really control the spread of the probe, or is it just designed to come out of the cartridge?
So it'll tell you, like, one comes out straight and one comes down. And
is there 2 red lights that they're looking at, or one?
No, just one.
Okay.
Now some of them have 2, but now there's a Taser 10, and I can explain that in a minute. But the first probe comes out straight, more of like your 90-degree trajectory. Then the other one comes down, and I think it's a 45-degree angle or some sort of angle downwards. Okay, so the closer I am, the less of the probe
for sure
spread I'm going to get. So if I get a minimal probe spread, then I follow up drive stun the opposite hemisphere, and it'll connect it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so when you see the taser failing, one, the probes are too close, or they only have one connection. This happens a lot in your northern states, jackets, Montana, it's cold, jackets, whatever. Okay, maybe one of the connections didn't make it. So I got one in the leg and the jacket one's not. So then my drive stun should be above the torso.
Unless they're running.
Yeah. So then like that's where you get that lockup.
Okay.
And that's called NMI, neuromuscular incapacitation.
That's called the falling tree.
Yeah. So when that happens, so the taser works.
Yeah.
And the reason it works in training every time is because they put like a alligator clip on your shoulder and one on your ankle.
Oh,
of course you're going to get
placement.
Locked up.
Yeah.
That's optimal placement, right? Yeah. So when taser fails, it usually fails because probe placement is too close and there's no follow-up drive stun to the opposite hemisphere. Or you have only one connection. Maybe you have 2 bad connections, but that's where the operator then has to process that and then follow up the drive stun. The only time they really should be drive stunning is following up probe placement.
Yeah, to find
it's the same use of force if I deploy the probes and if I don't. One's pain compliance and one's going to get you neuromuscular incapacitation if you do it correctly. Now, the Taser 10 just came out. The TASER 10.
Michael, I need to see an image of this.
Okay.
Is this like a Judge Dredd gun?
So it came out. I didn't get to use one or get trained on it at work, but I was actually
It looks the same.
Yeah. So I was actually at Michigan State Police doing a course. We were there for like 3 or 4 weeks, and they were teaching.
What?
They were training on the 10. Okay.
Do all 10 of those probes come out?
At different. Every trigger pulls a different probe.
What?
So now this is probably their best design.
Oh, here we go.
But the problem with this one is it's going to take more training, because now you got that officer that's freaking out, just uncontrollably could fling out 10 probes that he has no idea where they're going.
So with each trigger pull, there's 2 still coming out?
No, 1.
So you're going to have to pull the trigger twice.
Yeah.
Oh,
so the good part about that, though, is it goes up to 40 feet, where most tasers are about, I think, 25, 27, 35.
So you could intentionally aim upper and lower hemisphere.
Yes. So I could go upper hemisphere, good connection.
Yeah.
Now I can start to go lower hemisphere. Or I go upper hemisphere, it misses. I go upper hemisphere again, then I go lower hemisphere. So the TASER 10 is going to have probably a higher success rate.
Yep.
But it's going to take more training. Because
look at this thing.
Think of it, and it's actually right now, by definition, still defined as a weapon, because it's fired by a blank round.
Oh, is it?
Yes. So if you think about, like,
she is real close to that guy.
So she can make that connection, and now that's upper. So now she would want her next one to go lower. Yes, just like that.
Man, they better pay that stunt double good.
So
because he just ate. Oh man, she got him 3 times.
And you could go a third, right? Now there is, and don't quote me on this internet sensation, but like understanding our internet world. But I believe it only will put like the electric feeling outage to only 3 or 4. So like say you shot him 8 times, it's only going to put it out to like the 3 or 4 best connections.
All right.
But I think wherein lies a problem, where instructors and trainers have to be more disciplined, is one of the handgun rules on the range is know your target, know what is around it, behind it.
Yeah.
That's going to be the issue with this. Because TASER gets deployed a lot in congested spaces, and now we're flinging probes that could miss, and we're flinging under stress, and we know a lot of them are great shots anyway. So understanding that, like, making sure what is around and behind their target when they're just whipping probes out. So they need to be more disciplined in the training of doing so.
Was it your neck of the woods where the officer unloaded his magazine into the squad car because of the acorn?
That wasn't near me.
I assume anything like that happens in Florida.
But
you already know what I'm aware of. Speaking of hucking things downrange.
Yes. Like he fell to the ground and just started. Now, can you imagine being the suspect in the back of the car?
Here we are. Yeah, here we are. He was code black.
It was Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Of course it was.
Now, I'm Southwest Florida, so I'm like down farther. But
important thing to focus on is after the comma, FLA. Oh, God, that is a rough angle to his partner.
And I think he's saying he's hit here, too.
He did earlier.
So there probably was some sort of PTSD in this situation, I'm assuming. I don't know. I didn't look much into the background of the guy. I did hear he was some sort of former military. So I don't know if that played into his PTSD of hearing that acorn hit on the hood. But
here's a thought. If you're going to have that reaction because you're having that issue, which is, I think, a totally normal issue, you need to handle that to make sure that this doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Shockingly enough, the man in the back uninjured.
Yes.
Can you imagine that ride, though? Just hold still, hold still.
No. And like
I'm going floorboard. I'm diving to the floorboard.
Probably his best choice there.
I think so.
Like his best chance. And I don't even know if some of them you can't even get down that low because like they have like in the middle where your feet go on
in
the
those
floor.
moments, I fit.
Yeah. Get down there.
Michael, go back to right where he starts shooting. This angle on his partner is so tight.
Crossfire, though, is a huge issue in police.
Look, pause it, Michael.
Yeah. And you know what bullets do in cars?
Oh, I know. They go all over the place. Look at that. I mean, that's under 15 degrees off.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, the person was in the moment. You legitimately, it's something you have to learn to manage over time, but that guy might have been full on code black.
I will tell you, though, we've been talking a lot, especially because we've become really popular in our vehicle extraction stuff. Mm-hmm. And pulling a guy out of the car is the easy part. Mitigating the crossfire when shit goes bad is the hard part.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is like, it's very difficult to mitigate crossfire on a flat range.
Mitigate the crossfire on a flat range.
Because nobody goes downrange, realistically, right? So, like...
Do you guys split the center line of the vehicle? Or do you pick a side, left or right?
I like going same side approach.
Yeah.
Now, it's not wrong to go opposite side approach. It's not wrong.
It adds complexity with your angles, though.
Yeah, it adds complexity. If you do... And there's times for it. I'm not saying same side every time is 100%, but, like, especially if we're going to do the extraction, I like same side. If you approach on opposite sides, my preferred method, if I go opposite side of my partner, is like if he's on the B pillar, which would be the back side of the driver's door, my partner is on C pillar on the other side. Yeah. So we're offset. Our trajectory of angles are different, right? Yeah. And that's not trained. But the problem is if we're both on B pillar, you can high elbow that thing all you want. And we're right across from each other, and that guy's in the middle of us.
And like you said, the rounds, I mean, the glass itself, let alone the metal in the vehicle, that can get real spicy real fast. Yep.
So we've really been like working on like getting people to move together. Like, what is your plan if it goes bad? I don't know. We're just going to move. Well, how are you going to move? Like, if you're in a team, you guys know how you're moving. You don't have to think about it.
Well, we train those scenarios. I mean,
but in patrol, they don't train these scenarios.
Yeah, but again, how is that possible? It's part of your, the reason why we train them? Because it was part of our job.
Correct.
It's also part of your job.
Yes.
And again, this comes back to money. Does it cost money to bring people, to give them training days and bring people in and have training ranges? Yes. But it's going to cost you more money if it goes wrong and somebody, whether it's in disability for an officer catching around they shouldn't, or killing somebody that didn't deserve to die and suffering through the lawsuit there.
You're right.
Here's the question on this video. Say he had a TASER 10. How many of those 10 do you think would have been out?
Probably all of them.
I'm thinking 11. Yeah. I mean, they'd have been bouncing off the metal, but...
Yes. It's interesting, like, when I was young, I thought like I was fast and the training cartridges are only 15 feet, for TASER. Yeah. And I was like, I could outrun that before you can draw and hit me.
Yeah.
I was wrong.
What's your guys' rule, 21-foot rule?
So it's not a rule anymore.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Principle, if you will.
So they came out and basically said the 21-foot rule isn't a rule. It's more of like a guideline because...
That's the distance somebody's supposed to be able to close for an officer to come from a holster to a ready...
Yeah. If he's charged with a knife.
Yeah.
Okay, and the guy can get up and on. They're saying that you can get stabbed within 21 feet.
And for everybody listening, like 21 feet, that's a huge amount of distance. Go tape it out.
Yeah.
It's not. A lot closer than you think.
Yeah, it's only 7 feet. Or 7 yards. It's 7 yards.
It's basically it's me laying down 3 times plus another 3 feet.
Yes.
And 3.5 of me.
Then you got to think of, like, how fast are they processing it?
Damn, Michael, you're on it today.
Right? How fast are they processing it? And then are they fear, right?
Yeah.
Has 3 responses, fight, flight, or freeze. If they were fighting, they'd be going forward, so we can take that out. If they flight, they almost always go straight backwards, and now they're still going slower than the guy coming forward, and they're probably going to have their balance compromised and they'll fall to the ground. 2, they're going to freeze, and they're not moving. So we do this drill, like, all the time in a relay-based training setting.
Yeah.
And then we train to that, too, right? So, and again, it comes back to, like, understanding the body's response to fear and then movement. Human beings move backwards.
Yeah.
Away from the fear. They're not taught to move laterally. They're not taught to move forward. They're not taught to cut angles. That is a trained response.
Yeah.
So until they train that, they don't get it. Right? And then in law enforcement, they line 25 guys up on the range and they do courses of fire standing still. And they get 80 hours in the academy on handgun, on average. Okay, that's the average they get in the academy. They probably never shot a gun before in their life. So now they get 80 hours of training, and then they go into field training with only 80 hours on a gun. And probably no movement, no combative fighting, no positioning, that kind of stuff, right? So that's like just, again, it's the police training model is broken. I was looking for that earlier. Police training model. I can't remember where I said equation, but the police training model is broken. It's not even broken. It's old and bad. It just completely needs revamped. We train in silos. That's too predictable for like the 360 real world environment. Yeah. Sure, fundamentals on the range, fundamentals in DT, fundamentals in relay-based training, fundamentals in CQB. But now, when do we bring those walls down in those silos and train them together? Because in police work, most shootings happen from 0 to 7 feet.
Really?
And is dynamic and usually around a car in low light conditions.
Man, so here's what's wild. If they have that data collected and they know that, but yet they're not training that scenario at a minimum.
No.
That is insane.
I do a thing now when I go to all my classes, and I'll say, okay, everyone in here, and I'll say, in the civilian policing world, if you were deployed in the military, this doesn't count because it's just different rules of engagement, okay?
Slightly.
And I'll say, all right, raise your hand if you've tased more than 5 people in your career. And let's just go with an average room of 30. I may get 2 or 3, maybe 4 that have tased more than 5 people in their career. Raise your hand if you've pepper sprayed more than 5 people in your career. A couple, usually they're correction officers, and that's their number one tool. Or maybe it's just the older guys where that was like one can, one man was kind of the concept back then, you know?
That's rough for the back of your squad car.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to clean that out.
So less than 5. And then I say, and this is the one where I specifically say civilian policing, not like in military or rules of engagement. Raise your hand if you've shot more than 5 people. Nobody's raised their hand yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
And then I'll say raise your hand if you've gone hands-on and had to fight a resistant subject or actively combative subject more than 5 times. Everyone raises their hand.
Yeah, it's part of your guy's job.
It's the overwhelming majority of the thing, what we do once they resist arrest, right?
Yeah.
Because even higher percentages, if we say, hey, you're under arrest, and they turn around and they put their hands behind their back, and we put cuffs on them, but nobody hears about that because most of the time people are cooperative.
Yeah.
We only see the uncooperative ones. No one wants to see a cooperative person get cuffed. That's boring. Right? So, like, we know what we need to train. That's why, like, when Grand Rapids had that viral video in 2022 where the guy shot the guy in the back, the cop shot the guy in the back of the head.
What?
Yeah, so it's a vehicle stop.
Intentionally?
Well,
we're talking like contact shot to the back of the head?
Yeah. So it just got it was just in trial in April and May. April and May, and it was a I'm having a brain fart.
Is it Patrick Lyoya?
Yes.
Okay.
Dude, Michael's on it today.
Yeah, so
let's be honest.
It was a Patrick case.
Let's be honest. His performance.
Anyways, out of the jury, it was like 11-1 said not guilty, and one they were deadlocked, so it was a hung jury or whatever they call it. And so this is it. But this fight goes on for about 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Patrick actually takes the taser from the cop. They're fighting on the ground, so you see the foot pursuit.
Yep.
Okay, so he's got head control. The guy builds a base. He gets back up again. Then he goes to taser.
Is that too close for a taser, or could you try?
So you could present taser there if you earn your draw. It's just like a handgun. Like if I pull a gun out, as I'm pulling it out, the bad guy has as much fight to the gun or taser as I do.
It's not too. You're going to get a minimal spread though.
Minimal spread, so but you could minimal spread drive some.
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
Right. You could, but like you have to earn. So now this is like 3 minutes in. This is where he gets his gun out. And as he's starting to lose his balance here, he ends up firing around and shooting him. This is 3 minutes into the fight, and the suspect has the guy's taser here, okay? So their expert, the prosecution, they charge him with murder. The expert witness basically says that this is a dominant position the cop is in when he fires his gun. That he should have disengaged, right?
Technically, does he know how to hold the dominant position?
He doesn't.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have...
I can tell you right now, he's
off balance, yeah.
Yeah, my man, that guy's just going to stand up.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he already did stand up once from this position. And he's got the guy's taser, which is deployed both times. But again, Graham Connor, hindsight of 2020, the cop only knows it's been deployed once.
Gotcha.
Okay, so he's also worried about it being deployed on him. Okay. Their big thing is that he was in dominant position. I actually spoke with his attorney just prior to trial because the judge was fairly liberal and didn't want any more expert witnesses coming in. on the defense side. So I actually spoke to her, and I actually like took the prosecution's expert witness deposition. I broke that down to her and be like, this is how I would cross-examine him, because they specifically said that this is a dominant position. So in
theory, you're on top.
You're on top, and that's what they're saying, right? So now we talk about trends. But this position here, we know that when they build their base, they're halfway to standing. It's very dangerous, and most people get high.
Well, he also has no control. He's got one foot on the ground, 1 foot up. His right hand has his firearm in it, so it's not even on the body. And his left hand looks like it's stuffed high rib cage underneath the armpit. So I guess an underhook on that side, but he's not using it as an underhook. He
doesn't know what he's doing here, right? So it's not a dominant position, even though he's on top, because that guy's going to stand up. Okay, he's already stood up once from the same position.
Yeah.
Okay, so I ended up sending her 3 videos that were from 2024 of cops being chest to back, back mount, or backside control, chest to back. They got the suspects building a base and all of them falling over the top and now being underneath this guy.
Yeah.
And said, how are we saying that this is a dominant control position? It's not. One, he's got his gun out, giving verbal commands to stop. His gun is out. Then he keeps fighting. At this position, he's losing his balance, is obviously when he shoots, right?
Yeah, because he probably felt the tipping point and felt himself coming over.
Correct. Now, I wish I could have testified in there, because it probably, instead of it being like the hung jury or they're deadlocked, because 11 of them, I forget the number, it was 11-1 or 12-1, whatever it was. 12 of the jurors said that it was not guilty, and 1 juror was like, no, he's guilty, whatever.
So what do they do, retry it if it's
No, so it's like a hung jury, or it's called a mistrial. So they do a mistrial, and then the prosecution has the ability to retry it or not retry it, and they chose not to.
Gotcha.
Okay. So anyways, I had put this whole presentation together, like, and sent her this and been like, I know I can't testify for you this late into it, but this is how I would attack cross-examining the subject matter expert for the prosecution.
Yeah.
So again, it comes down to like the visual look of this looks like, oh, he's behind him and he's on top, he could disengage. But people don't understand the off-balancing, what commonly happens from this position, what has already happened from this position in the video earlier on.
Yeah.
And so
Michael, go backwards like 15. I just want to, I'm curious to see, I mean, oh boy.
So do you see?
Yeah, I'm just curious to see.
So this is where he takes the taser.
Yeah.
And then this is more of them.
Like, I like that. I'm like, okay, you could, but this is already not good. No, you could easily be shucked forward and end up on the bottom as well.
And in 3 minutes, and the officer basically is like, at this point in the fight, I'm exhausted. Disengaging was not an option for me. He goes, I don't know how fast I could have disengaged or whatever.
If you train,
that's
3 minutes into a fight is just past halfway in one of 10 rounds you're going to do in an hour.
You're right. And that's where training can actually save lives, right? Because if that's you, Andy, or me, or somebody else, we're not there right in the time, but we know how to defeat this position.
Yeah.
We know how to break this guy back down. We know how to control this position, and it's gonna be much more efficient for us. It's gonna be much more safer for the suspects that we're arresting. Now, the administration at Grand Rapids, and he was a lieutenant at the time, and now he's a captain. He was in charge of like their training program. He looked at it and he was like, and he wore a lot of the weight of this guy getting charged on his chest, being like, I didn't provide him with good enough training.
Yeah.
And he contacted us June of 2022. We go in, we do a 2-day like officer control and custody, weapons-based entanglement. They loved what they saw. They implemented us full into their training. Now they have 28 EFC instructors. They have their own grappling team in their PD. They have gone all in, and he does a presentation at the end of the year for us, and it is amazing. Like the efficiency and effectiveness they're having with their arrests and their use of the force. They had a vehicle extraction. They pulled a guy out. Guy's going for a gun in his waistband. They're talking stapling, pinning, everything that we talk about in there. They're actually talking to each other. Cops are staying calm.
Yeah.
I got the gun pinned. Okay, staple this arm. Someone's got cover. And they had 4 incidents that way in 2023, and none of them ended up in shootings.
Do you know what the original cause for contact was between these two?
I believe it was either a suspended reg or unregistered vehicle, and then he had no license. And he was intoxicated or believed to be under the influence of something, and that was the reason for getting him out of the car, I believe.
License plate, yeah. But I hate, whatever. Drunk people do drunk people stuff.
Yeah.
for one, I hate to Monday morning quarterback the cop because I'm sure if he could take back anything in his life, that would be at the top of the list. But I also, it's like, it doesn't need to escalate to this level.
Right, yeah.
This is an unnecessary loss of life. Justified or not, I'll leave that for the courts to decide.
And when you're in Origin Camp, look up, he's a blue belt.
Okay.
His name's Captain Dave Siver. He's actually the captain now for Grand Rapids Police Department that has implemented us, and he has been like the administration leading from the front of we need continuous training.
Yeah.
And it has changed their department's use of force, like totally. And he'll be at Origin Camp. He goes every year.
If you were to, and again, this is Monday morning quarterbacking, but I'm doing this through the lens of you can save lives by investing in your people early.
Yes.
A blue belt can handle this problem 100% of the time.
Easily.
Without issue.
Yes.
To control somebody who has not trained, it's not magic. That's one thing I actually dislike about jiu-jitsu. Oh, it's magic.
It's not.
It might feel like magic. You're just going up against somebody who doesn't understand the leverage, the mechanics, the weight, all those things. But I just hate seeing people, like, the loss of life is avoidable. Over a license plate, like...
You're right. And this guy might be intoxicated and made a poor decision.
Totally. I get it.
And he didn't need
I've made
to
a
die.
lot of poor decisions intoxicated, and I have needed other people to have a higher level of training or awareness to me. Not that I'm not going to get into a fight with cops. I prefer to run with them when I'm drunk. It's not a big deal. It's a difference.
You'll probably get away from a lot.
I did in that particular incident. I've only done it once. It was costly.
It was costly.
But today's episode is brought to you by LMNT, sometimes seen with just the letters LMNT. It's okay to say it like that, or you can also say LMNT. Well, here's the deal. With every packet or sparkling water of LMNT, here's what you're going to get. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. Now, this is the bubbly water. I love pouring this over ice and cutting it with a little bit more water. But I travel with these because, I mean, anybody on video could tell that this is going to be really rough to travel with, and they're actually going to take it from you at the TSA checkpoint because obviously you're a terrorist if you are worried about your electrolyte balance while traveling. These packs, though, super convenient. I start my morning by cracking one of these open, 12 to 16 ounces of water. I drink half of it with some collagen peptides, and that's how I start my day. Minimum for me after a jiu-jitsu training session is probably 16 to 20 ounces of water to rehydrate and a full packet of one of these. That's here in the U.S. If I'm over in Costa Rica, 2 to 3 per day. Can you drink too much? Yes. Is there a feedback loop for that? Yes. It involves a toilet. I'll let you figure out how to connect those two in your brain. You have to push your limits sometimes to find your limits. There is so much science surrounding why this product is good. And it is described by people way smarter than me, like Huberman or Rob Wolf, one of the co-founders who happens to be a friend of mine. I've known him since the CrossFit days. We trained jiu-jitsu here locally until he moved to a different city in Montana. And I remember him bringing these things early on unlabeled, and wow, what a difference between just rehydrating with water and the 1,260 of sodium, potassium, and magnesium, respectively. Life-changing for recovery, for brain focus, reducing brain fog. And this is just me anecdotally talking about the difference that I feel. It's unbelievable. For fans of old movies, the old Tron, the original one, which in comparison to the current the graphics and the ability of CGI is laughable at best. They basically had a Frisbee that they would scoop into water and they would drink it and they would start glowing a darker blue. You need to go back and watch this, by the way. This is the documentary. That's how I feel when I drink this stuff. I'm not saying it's going to do that and make you glow blue. I'm just saying that's the best way that I can describe how it feels. They got spicy stuff that's great in cocktails. They have chocolate flavors around the wintertime months for hot chocolates and a variety of flavors in these packets and also in the bubbly water. So what I recommend is heading over to drinklmnt.com/clearedhot, and you're going to get a free LMNT sample pack with any purchase, which is the best way to figure out what you like. Sample a bunch of different stuff and go with what you like. And don't go with what you don't like. The 16-ounce sparkling water is a little bit newer. I have a coffee shop. We order cases of this every week. It flies out the door, and there's a reason for it. It's delicious, and it works. drinklmnt.com/clearedhot. Back to the show. Again, I mean, it's going to cost you money either way.
Yeah.
Put it into the people up front.
You're right. And we know that. That's the answer. That is the answer. The problem is it's going to have to be written legislation of making training mandatory for departments for them to do that. The posts are going to have to come down. So like post standards for each state is going to, because there's no national like standard. The post, who's like the governing body of training in most states, is going to say, hey, you guys have to train this much now. Like California is, they have to train 4 hours every 2 years.
Strong,
right?
Stay frosty, if you will.
Pennsylvania just came out and they put 4 hours a year. Before it was nothing though.
Who is writing that and thinking that that's acceptable?
That's the problem. It's people that don't understand. People don't understand. These guys, they don't understand. It's lawyers, it's politicians that have no idea how to do it. Like my friend, he was the captain of Grand Prairie Police Department in Texas, sits kind of in the Dallas-Fort Worth metropolitan area. He just retired a couple weeks ago, but he's a black belt. He implemented a jiu-jitsu program in his police department where they had their own mat room and stuff. He had like 350-man department. He had like, I think 80 guys training jiu-jitsu, like 7 or 8 black belts. And he did a 5-year study of how that changed their use of force.
Yeah, it's going to decrease.
Yeah, and
substantially.
And it decreases. And when you do have the use of force, the outcomes of suspect and officer injury go down. I mean, we know that's the answer. Like I'm working right now with Colorado Springs Police Department. I have the contract for their PERF and National Institute of Justice study. So PERF basically did a study for them and said, this is what you guys need to redo. And it's 148 pages. It's online if you go to like the Colorado Springs City website. The big thing they're saying is officers need more hands-on training and more reality-based training, which is like in the SEALs would be like your black hood drills.
Or just scenario-based training.
Yeah, some sort of scenario-based training.
The black hood drill, the hooded box drill, if you will, it has some value to it. I think structured scenario-based training has equal value with less woo-woo smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, so like I think you have to have both. And if you work up from box drills to scenario training, the one thing scenario training doesn't do that the box drills do, and they both have pros and cons for things that they hit on.
It doesn't snapshot you with the information.
Right. So box drills force you to process right away, right? Where scenarios, if I say, okay, we're doing the scenario and I already know it's a CQB or
you don't have to tell them what the scenario is.
Yeah, you could do that as well. Yeah. So any type of scenario drilling where there's going to be some sort of resistance or something that they have to make decisions on, process, and then handle correctly, right? Most people don't do that because it takes too much time. They're afraid people are going to get hurt. They're not adding resistance. And when you don't have resistance in things, you're not going to see improvement. Yeah. Because you have to put your people under pressure. You have to pressure them right away. If you don't pressure them right away, they're not going to process. They're going to get nervous. And we know from 0 to 7 feet is where shootings occur. These bad things occur. Stabbings are like 0 to 3 feet.
Well, average arm length. 0 to whatever average arm length is.
Before they see the knife, I think, is 0 to 3. They don't see the blade until it's within 0 to 3. So now you're already behind the 8 ball. Yeah. And so any type of pressure testing scenarios is very unordinary in police work. And unfortunately, that's what they wanted more. So Colorado Springs ended up hiring us. There was a whole bunch of departments or companies that put in for it. It came down to 2 of us, and then we ended up winning it. Probably because we're more grappling law enforcement-based integration, like with weapons, and we have police officer experience, and we have a reality-based training program. That's our level 2, is just all reality-based training, where we teach them how to run it safely, how to develop the drills, how to have the role players run correctly, how to coach that correctly, how to add resistance. And so I had to go to Colorado Springs for 4 weeks and do level 1 and 2 back-to-back for them. And then the grant is paying for them to give the officers 20 hours each of training. And then they're going to start the study, so like post-EFC and then pre-EFC. So they're going to take body cam video from 3 years prior implementation and 3 years post. Yeah. Now they have to the end of this year to get it rolled out through all their guys. And they asked me, like, what would you suggest we work on in this 20 hours? And I said I would do, because they're going to do 5 4-hour training sessions. I said I would do the same thing all 5 times. So 4 hours of one man and team control and custody.
Yeah.
And just keep doing it because that's the overwhelming majority of the time we use force is what it is.
I was going to say, look at the statistics of where it's happening and reverse engineer it from there.
Yeah, and that's what we did. I want you guys, and this is just my opinion. They can choose what they want to do, but they listen to me, And I said all 5 of those sessions should be control and arrest tactics, solo and team. In what we trained, concept and principle based, because they're not going to learn they're not going to be good at a triangle in 20 hours, right? So it's like understanding what is positioning, what are angles, what is, if Andy is on top, low mount on me or knee on top, say, what's the second guy do? Goes and anchors the leg. What's the third guy do? Anchors the head, right? Having this plan in place so now you know where you come in, and then that's where we see tactics just being super efficient.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. So by the end of this year, that should be implemented there, and then we'll see how that comes back. But we already know the turnout because Grand Rapids already did it.
Yeah. What are the use of force? What is it? Pennsylvania versus MIMS? Where, for law enforcement broadly, where does it come from? The regulations of use of force.
No. So Pennsylvania versus MIMS is a vehicle case law that states that I can interview the driver of the vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere.
I'm going down my sovereign citizen rabbit hole because that's what they say. Pennsylvania versus MIMS.
Yeah, but Pennsylvania, and to their they're basically saying that we can ask them that. I could walk up to a car on...
No, the cops are the ones who talk.
Yeah.
Because they'll say, hey, I need you to read my document.
Yes.
I don't want you to see my YouTube history because I may have a robust... I'm sorry, I love them.
Yeah.
I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
They're interesting.
The cops, they'll go, well, what seat are you traveling in? And they're like, the driver's seat. I mean...
So Pennsylvania versus MIMS basically says... I can conduct my interview with the driver anywhere. So if I ask them to come out of the car, they have to come out.
They don't like that one.
They don't like that.
No, they don't like that one at all because they're not contracting with the government. So
correct, yeah.
What is the use of force?
The major...
the major
Graham
case.
Graham versus Connor. Yeah.
What was that one about? Unpack that a little bit.
Graham versus Connor is actually... the cop sees a car pull up in front of like a store and a guy get out, run in, and then run right back out. So... he assumes that it looked like there was some sort of robbery that had taken place.
Yep.
So they basically make contact with this car, get the passenger out, and try to detain him, and he fights. Okay, and they take him into custody or whatever. So he actually was having some sort of medical issue, and so he was running in there to look. I think he was diabetic, so he was running in there to
insulin, Mars bar,
maybe like orange juice or something, and they didn't have it, so he came running back out, and then that occurred. So basically they're saying there's 3 factors that the court should consider in use of force, and then there's all these other factors that the court consider as well. But it's severity of the crime. Okay, is going to be one of the factors that the court wants to consider, whether he's resisting arrest or attempting to flee, and whether he's a danger to himself or somebody else. Are the 3 main factors that every case use of force should be judged on.
Are there any other court cases that use of force is looked at through?
Oh yeah, there's constantly coming out, but
really?
Underneath, they all kind of resort back to these 3 factors, and then different decisions under different, because you have the Supreme Court, and then you have the circuit courts, and there's a ton of them, right? And they all have their own, people say the Ninth Circuit, which is Nevada, California, is more liberal decisions versus whatever. But in the end, it could go up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court could kick it back to the circuit courts, right, for decisions.
How does that information get passed out to the officers if there is a change or an update to that?
So that's going to be dependent on the department, but I would say unless they're doing it on their own, it's probably not.
Oof.
So let's take, for instance...
You're going to get mixed results on that.
Yes. So let's take, for instance, Felix versus Barnes, which just came down in May.
Okay.
Supreme Court ruled 9-0 on Felix Barnes, stating that... And then they kicked it back to the circuit court for what they wanted him to judge it on. So Texas case, officer jumps on the hood of the car, guy takes off, he ends up shooting there.
I think I've seen this video.
So Felix Barnes basically is going to now put more... The Supreme Court ruled that they want the courts to look at the totality of the circumstances rather than the point of imminent threat. When it happened, what was the threat? Yeah. They want them to look at... So now, police-induced jeopardy is going to be more at that. Like, did he induce this because he jumped on the hood of the guy's car?
Yeah.
Right? If he didn't jump on the hood of the guy's car, does he drive off and then he's not in danger, right?
Yeah, he's not a hood ornament at that point.
It's got pros and cons for the police, and it's got pros and cons for society, realistically. But I'm not opposed to the decision, to be honest. I like totality of the circumstances anyways, because I can document from the beginning to when whatever force was used of why I had to use whatever level of force. And
Did you find this video, Michael?
I'm looking.
Because I feel like this one is...
Yeah, so this is Felix versus Barnes, and that was a Supreme Court one. That said, you're now ruling from moment of threat. They're going to kick it back to the circuit court, but they're going to rule. I want you to rule using totality of the circumstances. Right now, I'm retired, but as the use of force and combatives instructor, I need to know this stuff. So, like, obviously, people are like, "Oh, you travel the country and teach all the time." They don't see the 80 hours a week that I'm spending doing media, answering questions, educating myself.
Yeah, but the fact that you are aware of these things and potentially officers on the street or their administration are not, that is a little concerning.
Well, if you went out into Kalispell and next time you see an officer, ask him what the First Amendment is.
They're going to know that one.
Maybe not.
You got to hit him with like the 8th.
No, hit him with
which
like
I don't
the
know
first,
what that is
hit him
either.
with the 5th, hit him with the 4th.
No, they need to know that. Even I know that. It's freedom of speech. The 5th is the right to not self-incriminate, and the 4th has to do with unlawful search and seizure.
Yeah, and when we take someone into custody, that is a seizure, right? We seize them. So, like, understanding that most cops, not most, but there's a large majority of cops, if you ask that question, they don't know them.
There's no way.
Yeah. There's a guy that goes around
The
asking
police
them.
station is right over here. We're going after this, and you're going to ask them, and I'll sit there and film it. Did you find that video, Michael?
No, I'm still looking.
I feel like there's got to be.
It's out of
gotta
Texas.
be on here.
It's somewhere out of Texas. 2016.
Okay.
Your quote, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's 2016.
The officer jumps on the hood?
Yeah. Officer jumps on a hood, 2016 in Texas.
What was the overall situation? Was this one of the ones where he's trying to bust out in between cop cars and the guy jumps on the hood? Or
To be honest, I didn't look at the case itself totally in depth yet. I just know that it was in the circuit courts and it was going to have some sort of ruling. It got kicked up to the Supreme Court for what they wanted to look at the moment of threat.
I don't know if this is the one, actually. Is it in Beaumont?
Is it Texas?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Let's
the
see.
exact.
This video is funny anyways, though.
Oh, I don't.
oh god,
No,
that's
that's not it. No,
That's not it. But let's
That's not
discuss.
it.
Let's
But-
discuss this tactic.
this
Oh, my
is the
man's
thing.
out.
But this is the thing. When we do vehicle extractions in a patrol setting, we have a principle. Don't reach into the car until the car can't be moved. Whether you block
Oh,
it
he
in,
wasn't reaching.
it's turned off.
He was trying to enter.
He jumped into it.
But here's the problem. My man's out.
Yeah.
I don't care what level of retention holster you have now. Somebody
It doesn't matter.
Walk off with your firearm.
Yep.
I mean, he cracked his head on. Michael, let's watch that again.
Yeah.
But this is very common. People jumping on cars.
Jumping
Is it?
into a moving convertible.
Listen, so
Look at that.
not maybe in their convertible, but like getting up on cars or standing on cars, like that's very common. Like
God, he is hard out.
those are just common things that occur. Again, under stress, people don't think and we don't use tactics. Now, have there been times where like I'm in a pursuit of a vehicle when I was working and it crashed out or it pulled over and then I ran up to the car? Yes, I did that as a young Jay. Is that the smartest tactic? No. The guy's fleeing for a reason.
Yeah.
Why am I rushing the car? That should be a high-risk vehicle stop. We should
Especially
be
after it
exiting the
just
car.
wrecked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now have we done that? I've done that before.
Yeah, but have you ever tried to leap into a convertible?
Negative.
Let's hypothesize here. Michael, go back just a little bit. You can pause it. I just want to see the convertible.
What are you going to do if you get in it?
That's going to be my question. Because he was about to enter the back seat because the guy was taking off. Like, okay, pause. Let's say, whatever, he had enough momentum to dump himself into that thing. What's your next move? You pull your gun out and tell the guy to pull over? You tase a dude while he's driving?
Well, look up this. Go like San Bernardino, California, 2024. Officer ends up in the backseat of a car during a vehicle extraction.
Stop it.
And he ends up having to shoot the guy because the guy's reaching for a gun and driving erratically.
Wow. That guy 100% had a concussion after that.
Yes.
That was full back ahead to concrete. That sucks.
I think it's San Bernardino.
Yeah, I'm still looking here.
Well, Michael's finding that. We were talking earlier about how when you roll with Gordon, you just trash him. Is he aware that you talk about him like that? That you just dominate him in every position?
I'm sure. And, like I didn't even know him until 2022, and I ended up doing executive protection for...
Why does he need executive protection?
So in ADCC 2022, he was threatened by the Brazilians because him and the Galvao had that thing. And you're not worried about the rest of the
Brazilians
competitors.
To do what? Oil up and get after it?
You're not worried about the rest of the competitors, right? Like they're just... If they do anything, they're getting kicked out for life. And it's ADCC, right? Like they're not going to. It was the fans. And then there was a Las Vegas Open earlier in the week. And there was so the Brazilians had basically threatened the fans that they were stab him. So it doesn't matter how good of a fighter you are. Like if someone stabs you. So ADCC actually hired him protection. And so I ended up jumping on that gig and getting it. And then through channels of becoming friends with him, I did it for him for 2024, and he got his truck stolen at one point. Do you remember that? Yeah. So I went to Texas for 2 years of my police career. Followed a girl down there or whatever. So a relationship that I had made with another female, just as friends, but that was in the academy, is a sergeant for the Cedar Park street crimes or violent task force. And she saw him post that on his page, and she calls me and she's like, "Aren't you friends with this guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I know who took his truck." She's like, "I've just recovered 2 of them already, this model." And who's doing the
TRX,
case?
Wasn't it?
Yeah. So anyways, long story short, I called him. He tells me who got it. I get her in contact with him. I'm in the Phoenix airport because I'm flying the red eye overnight. Basically, by the time I got back to my house, her and her team, because she was on a task force with DPS and stuff, they used a helicopter and imaging, and they had his car back to him by the next afternoon.
Was it a group of people targeting just that model?
Yes. So it was a group of young, I think, gang kids from the city of Austin that were targeting it. But she knew the group, that she'd been working this for a while, and so she reached out to me, and that's actually how that happened. It's pretty crazy.
Don't try to avoid the fact that you were saying in open company that you whip his ass.
Oh my God. I'll tell you, you take people at that level.
Oh, I know. And
they don't even have to try to whip your ass. You just know that they're friendly.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yeah. More than him, I've become closer with Giancarlo.
Okay.
I sponsored him for ADCC 24. Okay. And I talk to him occasionally, and I've rolled with Giancarlo, and it's just different. I roll with Taza, Roca, there's levels to these things. Yeah. I can't, I'm a pretty decent jiu-jitsu practitioner. I'm 47 and I work a full-time job, but I can hold my own usually against most people. Guys at that level.
Yeah, it's like you're creating a language out of a different alphabet. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Did you find that shit, Michael?
That whole group is crazy.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
I have a guy that teaches for me, Matt Secor, and he's Masters 1 Nogi Pan and world champion 2024. And rolling with him, I look at myself in the mirror every day and be like, I can't do any, I'm a pretty decent black belt, and he could do whatever he wants with me whenever he wants.
Masters 1 is now what, 19 years old?
30 to 35, I think.
It's the youngest Masters. It's one of the sports where you're you're not in your 20s. Yeah, you guys, you go to the old people side.
Yes.
Which honestly, given how hard and how good those guys, how hard they go and how good they are, it's maybe I will go to the old guys.
I was actually texting back and forth with Gordon not too long ago when we were looking to jump on a podcast that had some good steam, because we were both dumbfounded about the rear naked choke or the vascular neck restraint in police work.
Dumbfounded about what aspect? That it works so well?
No, that there are places, the city of New York, so not the state of New York, but New York City.
Okay.
Colorado, and I think that's what the State Patrol, Denver, Colorado Springs are all under the way they have the law written, that vascular neck restraints are prohibited in all levels of force, including deadly. So this is crazy. So what you're saying is I have you back mounted, I'm fighting inside control, and you start to reach for a weapon, and I can't choke you. I can't. If I did, then I'm getting charged. but I could shoot you in the head and it's okay. How?
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, but how insane is it? Now, you would never be found guilty in the Supreme Court system, but you actually are violating state law in Colorado if you did that, okay? Unless they've changed it since I've had these conversations when I was out there earlier this spring, okay? And this is coming from like people high up in like the state police and in like Colorado Springs and Denver in their training divisions. Mm-hmm. This is what they're telling me. Okay. And then New York City, I did a private training for their instructors, and they're all solid. But they don't get to get anything changed for that. But they 100% told me that you cannot choke even in deadly force. It is prohibited.
How did that get written into law?
So, knee-jerk reactions in 2020, George Floyd. How crazy is that?
I mean, for one, that wasn't a rear naked choke.
Yeah, that was a knee on the back of the neck. That's different. But that's where this came into this is where this came into law, was these reactions.
But even knee on the back of the neck is not a vascular restraint.
Sure.
Yeah, that's wild.
But that's what those say, is you can't use a choke in deadly physical force. Now, most states and departments have banned the use of choking a suspect if it's not deadly physical force. Mm. But in deadly physical force, it's basically like, I can run you over with a car, and it's okay. We don't train to run people over a car, but I can. Yeah. But you're saying I can't choke someone in deadly physical force? That's insane. But this is what knee-jerk reaction political decisions have handcuffed policing. Now, can you imagine if society knew, I have a guy pinned to the ground, and he's fighting you to get to a gun, and I could choke him and end the situation, and the overwhelming majority of the time save his life.
Yeah.
But I can't do that, so I have to shoot him because I'm in the use of force to shoot him. Can you imagine if they knew that?
What I would want to do, and this would never work because they'd never agree to do this, is you put the lawmakers into that position and you present them with that exact choice in a training scenario.
You're right.
To try to force them to make those. It's the same as what you see people who are so vehemently anti-police.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you get one that agrees to go to a use of force simulator. Mm. And they leave there with a drastically, at least from what I have seen, a drastically different understanding of the limited amount of information and time you have to make choices.
You're right, yeah.
You know, police should never shoot anybody. You get them in there and they are just
make terrible decisions.
Winchester on they're just reload mags.
There's quite a few of those out there where they take like the group's like leader and be like, hey, come, and they put them through like a relay-based training scenario.
Yeah.
And they fail miserably. Usually they shoot
shocked.
people that are unarmed.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they're just smoke wagon left, right, and center. But that's what you would need to do for the people that write those laws. They would never agree to do it because they're not going to want to be the person in that situation. But yeah. I mean, I look at it from the perspective of my young children. If one of them was having their worst day and they were shit-faced and whatever, they're mouthing off to a cop, it ends up going physical. They're in a position where the cop has to make that choice. What do I want to have happen? Just choke my son unconscious.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what I would want.
Sure. People are under the impression that choking someone kills them the most of the time.
There would be nobody left participating in jiu-jitsu.
None. That's the thing, though. A lot of these
Zero
things are
people would do jiu-jitsu.
When I say uneducated decisions, I'm not saying the people making them are uneducated. I'm saying the people making the decisions are uneducated in the aspect of what choking a human being actually does. Okay, because I'm sure they're educated in some fashion, most of them.
Yeah.
Okay, they're making a decision on something they're uneducated in, and that's the problem. That's just what's happening.
Yeah, that's rough.
But look at police officers. A jury of your peers is supposed to be people of like, you know, same experiences, whatever. Police officers are getting jury of your leftovers every time. You're not getting one cop in that jury.
Yeah.
You know, so like you got to understand that like articulation is huge. Use of force is huge. It's not just so easy like, oh, just want to blast this dude in the face. Okay, maybe, but at what cost? Or like, hey, I could punch this guy, but maybe this guy I can't. He's just actively resisting. Am I going to punch him in the face 20 times over and over again when he's not really like fighting me or actively aggressive? Are there other options I can go to? So like, again, the police model of training is broken. And And that's all sorts of training. That's even like staying up to date on current case laws and whatever circuit court your departments are in, or the Supreme Court decisions, right? Like, I try to do that because I do a lot of expert witness stuff for custody and control and tactics. So I have to. Once I quit doing that, then I probably shouldn't be a subject matter expert, and I probably shouldn't be teaching people anymore.
What's it like being cross-examined by the prosecutor or the defense, depending on which side you're on? Are they just looking for ways to do they challenge your position of knowledge, or are they just trying to look for a chink in what it is that you're saying?
Some of both. You can't, and you shouldn't do this in the job either. You can't take it personal, because they're gonna.
Yeah, they're doing their job.
They're gonna try to make it personal.
Yeah,
right.
Jeffrey Dahmer had a lawyer too. People.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't think he enjoyed eating people's faces.
No,
So
like understanding like criminal testimony is different than civil testimony.
Yeah,
more stuff's in civil testimony. Like they can ask you more. Your attorney has very little like ability to object, and then you still have to answer the question. Those types of things, but. There was an attorney that I worked for in the city of Syracuse area, and he was extremely knowledgeable, and I testified for him a couple times, and I probably learned more testifying to be prepared for court with him than anybody else. And what I mean by that is, like, we sat down and prepared for the trial, or it wasn't even a trial yet. It was just the deposition on the record. So it was going to be like me, the judge, the two attorneys, basically. And he said, when you're testifying, you need to take 3 things in consideration when you're being cross-examined. When the attorney cross-examines you and he asks you a question, you need to demand direct questions. Okay? Demand direct questions. And if you can't demand the direct question, then you have to pause before you give your answer, and you have to give direct answers. I never learned this in the academy. I never learned this in any like court preparation for anywhere. And what he meant by that is if I ask you, or say your name is Andy Stump, right?
Yes. That
would be not giving me a direct answer. That would be you playing into my hands.
How?
Because I asked you something that was true.
Yeah.
So you just agreed with me.
Yeah, because it's true.
So I'm going to do that like 9, 10, 11 times. And then I'm going to give you something that's 95% true and 5% damaging.
How are you supposed to answer that question?
Then you'll say yes or correct or whatever they are. And then now you've just damaged your whole testimony. So this is a cycle that they try to put you in.
Well, how do you answer the question about
like
your name?
You were in the military, correct?
Correct.
So instead of saying correct or yes, answering what I want, the direct answer would be, my name is Jay Wadsworth. So if you ask me what my name is, ask me what my name is.
What is your name?
Say, your name is Jay Wadsworth, correct?
Your name is Jay Wadsworth, correct?
My name is Jay Wadsworth. I give the direct answer. Because if you don't give the direct answer, they're going to catch you in something that's 95% true and 5% false or damaging, and then they're going to crush your testimony from there.
Okay.
So, like you said, you worked for the City of Jamestown Police Department. I don't say yes. I say I was a police officer for the City of Jamestown Police Department.
How does the attorney asking you those questions, how do they respond when you start answering?
They don't like it.
Because they know the gig's up.
They know the gig's up. But I had a guy ask me the same question 26 times, and I gave the direct answer 26 times.
26 times?
26 times.
He didn't have it after the 25th?
No. They're just trying to catch you. They're trying to wear you out. It's like and then when you're doing like...
an endurance event, essentially?
Or like you're interviewing people. Like time is tough for everybody. Like you're in an interview room and like you did it or you didn't do it, but we're trying to get it out of you. You leave people in these rooms and the thoughts start happening and thinking things like you're just trying to, that time is on your side, right? Like they want to wear you down. Think of it in jiu-jitsu. We're on our feet wrestling. I'm hanging on your head.
Yeah.
I'm wearing your neck down.
Yeah.
The endurance is an issue, right? So endurance in there as well. Like maybe on 24, my endurance was still good and I gave the direct answer. On 26 times, my endurance was tired and I just said yes.
Can you see it, though, in that first direct answer that you give? Can you see them just in their head, like...
For sure. And I didn't know this for 16 years of my career. I didn't know that. No one taught me that.
Yeah.
16 years before someone taught me that.
I could see that really unwinding their strategy.
No defense, no DA ever told me that when I was working and I was testifying for the prosecution. No DA, AG, federal prosecutor ever told me that.
Huh.
Trial preparation is very, very weak when it's working with police and DA for the most part. I'm not saying there aren't some that are probably good at their jobs and do it, but what I knew from my career, it's like, okay, they got five cases on grand jury today, or you're up next for the jury trial, like in and out, right? No preparation. I did a day and a half of preparation for a deposition with this guy.
I could see what you're saying, the yes, no, true, correct. I could see them marching you towards that spot.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
So that is probably the best thing I ever learned as far as courtroom prep or testimony was demand the direct question, which you can't really do because I can't look at the attorney and be like, hey, can you ask it another way? Mm-hmm. So if you're not getting a direct question, then pause. You need to pause. Don't rush out your answer. Pause. Give a direct answer. That's steps 3. 1, 2, 3. Demand a direct question. If you don't get it, pause.
Yep.
Give the direct answer.
Now I want to go to court and do that to some attorney. I'm not an expert in anything, but if somebody needs me as an expert witness, I will give direct answers.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yes.
So I ended up finding both of them, actually.
Okay.
This is what happens when you get.
Oh yeah, here's Felix on the Beltway. Yeah.
Yep.
So Barnes Felix, that's where you
Yep.
get it from, right? The 2 last names of the participating parties.
Oh, wow.
So see how he jumps up into the door frame here.
Yeah.
And then
Has he already shot him? Yeah.
So again, officer-induced jeopardy is going to be more at the forefront. Did you?
I don't know what other choice he had. I mean, not that he'd get drug under the car, but the door pushed him closer. See how it kind of wedged him in there?
Yeah, because he reached in and grabbed either the guy or the door.
Man,
right?
if he would have tried to get off of that, yeah. Not that he had 2 great options there,
Yeah.
but the door swinging shut didn't help anything.
And now they didn't rule on if he's guilty or not guilty here,
Yeah.
or if there's going to be financial payment to the family. They're just saying they want them to look at this, not at the moment he's on the car and shooting him, of the totality
What
of the
led up to that
circumstances.
moment, yeah.
So that's now, and that was a 9-0 vote by the Supreme Court. That wasn't even close. That's 9-0. So totality of circumstances is a new way going forward of judging uses of force,
All right.
not moment of threat.
Let's see the other one, Michael. Good job on finding these, by the way.
Yeah, I had to go to Reddit for this one.
Oof. Reddit is
It's a
dangerous place.
Yeah, it is. I should have probably just saying
All right, what was this one?
Instagram page.
Trapped in. Oh, he's been the behind. Okay, this is the guy in the back seat.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is, again, I use this video, and this is a current video. I use this video all the time when I'm teaching vehicle extractions. So go back a little bit.
Yeah,
He's already in the car.
Why is he at...
So this kind of jumps around a bit. So
why
we
is
have
his
to
pistol
go
out of battery?
all the way over here.
That I don't know.
Did you notice that? His
Yeah,
slide
I
was
did.
back a little
It's
bit.
out, yeah. So he's reaching here. Female officer on the driver's side, passenger side. So now they're going to...
So pistol is in battery here.
Yes. So it must be when he got thrown in. I'm assuming when he got thrown in, maybe the slide got taken out of battery. But so now he reaches in.
Yep.
And again, here's this thing of like, let's not reach into moving cars unless it's immobilized. The cars cannot get mobile. So he goes to go for the gear shift. This guy reaches in, pulls it back in. But now, look, they're right across from each other. So if they have to get in a shooting here, it's a crossfire issue. 2, this guy hammers down on the gas in a minute.
He thought he put it in park. He put it in neutral. Keys aren't coming out in neutral.
Nope. And obviously an older vehicle.
Yeah. And it's just tough, right? I mean, these officers are thoroughly committed at this point.
Yeah, now the female opens the door, but she's on this side. Look how far in the guy on the driver or the passenger side had to get in.
Yeah, he's in the car.
He's in the car. So now if it takes off, you're stuck. He actually got stuck in this car here.
Here we go. Then he's in the back seat now.
Yeah, so now he's in the back. So the guy drove off and it
Kind of
threw-
launched him into the back.
The female stepped back away from the car.
Yeah.
And it threw him into the back seat. So now he's behind him. He's driving erratically. He starts reaching for what the guy sees as a pistol, so he ends up having to shoot him.
Yeah, like right there. His pistol's out of battery.
Yeah.
There you go. He's trying to correct it.
No, it's still out of battery.
Did he already shoot him?
I think so. I wonder if he
I wonder if he had a piece of brass.
Yeah,
A failure to eject.
Semi-stove popper.
Yeah. Dude, you got to drop.
So
tap
now
right
he
back.
does a good job because he
had already shot the guy.
he gets the steering wheel, and
Yeah.
then he ends up getting his foot to the brake and like using the curb to slow himself down. But like that's what happens. These videos are people are like, this would never happen, and I'm like, no. I have multiple body cam videos of just 22, 23, and 24 of multiple issues like this that occur with patrol settings and vehicle extractions or vehicle tactics of reaching into cars or trying to pull guys out. Pulling the guy out of the car is the easy part. It's when it goes bad is the awful part. And if you're on the passenger side and you have to reach into the driver, you're in the car.
Yeah.
You're already in the car.
That's a tough ask.
So yeah, that's that one.
Wow. Okay.
And what was the date on that? That's November of 2024. So that was not even a year ago.
Wow. Has that one already been cleared? Justifies use of force? Is that still being adjudicated?
So they've cleared him.
Yeah.
But of course, like there could be some civil implementations.
Yeah, the civil side's
like,
a totally different story.
That's a whole different side. And I don't know how far along it is, but they released a body cam of that a while back.
Did he end up having a weapon on him?
Yeah, it was a gun in his waistband. Yep.
Man.
Yeah, kind of crazy. But this is the things people don't understand. Like, hey, we can train to like just pull a guy out of the car. We can just go do vehicle extractions. That's the easy part. If I got two guys to get a guy out of the car, it's not that difficult, right? The hard part is when it goes bad. Now what do we do? How many people are training, moving together, moving to path of least resistance? Why? The door's open. Who's going to move to the front? Unless you're training it all the time, path of least resistance is probably to the rear, right?
If the stats are there, any organization that values the statistics, or values risk mitigation, would look at these things and say, these are the areas where we are absorbing the highest level of risk. We're having the officer or the contact-related outcome where it is the most risk, it is the most visible, it is the most public. You would work on that until you were able to reduce that and identify it until something else popped up, most statistically. And then you could work on that. You know what I mean? That's how a metric – it's not like the metrics don't exist.
No, they're there. I did a short clip on a video today about data. Like the best data we have is body cam video now.
Yeah.
Now, can we take that as a collective?
Thought it was going to be this dossier of information that incriminated police. Most of the time what ends up happening is you see people acting like assholes.
Yeah, you're right. And like I use it in multiple different ways. I'll use it to be like, okay, here's a trend. 3 or more things happening in a year that like occurring. We can provide a better solution, or we have to pay attention to suspects doing this, or this position is coming up a lot. How do we better that? Now, you can take a set of data and match it to those and be like, okay, the data is matching these videos. Okay, how do we reverse engineer what we're training to now? And so I do that a lot with like building out curriculum.
Yeah, that makes sense. We should discuss that Adam isn't here because I've been thinking about this since you told me he hurt his back submitting somebody.
He did. He blew out his back supposedly.
I still can't think of a submission.
He says he did it submitting somebody.
Which is broad. And I just can't think of a submission that would require so much effort that one would blow out their back. And I'm not saying he's a liar. I just think he might not be telling the truth.
Maybe he was getting submitted. Well, he admits to getting submitted all the time, though.
That's fine. It happens to us all. But I'm just curious, how did he throw his back out?
He says, I'll have to ask him. We're going to have to ask Adam what position and submission he was giving.
Because I would like to avoid it. Apparently, it's dangerous.
Yeah. Now, I mean, the only thing I can think of is a triangle getting stacked, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. Let go. It's pretty interesting.
Unlock the triangle. Let him pass.
And then he's like, you know, I did this and I'm in bed, but he was like, maybe it's meant to be because we just released the Police Post app. And so he's like, maybe it's meant to be because then I'm here to answer any questions that like JT has during the release or whatever.
Was he aware of the plan you were putting together that you had texted me about?
No.
See? What a missed opportunity.
I know.
which
You're right.
I will not say what the plan is, even though hopefully by the time this comes out, that plan has come to fruition. But if not, missed opportunity.
Missed opportunity. I told him I had something for him next time I saw him.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up saying.
He should be able to figure that out.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe, maybe not.
Maybe.
Could be, yeah, because it could be multiple.
Maybe it was fear. That's why he didn't show up.
Ooh.
It's like, I don't know what that is, or maybe I do know what it is, and I don't want any of that smoke.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that version of it.
I do too. It's the most offensive to him. Yeah.
Okay. Will and I were talking today. He loves that judo floor you got in the
spring
gym.
floor is amazing. Even if you are going to roll and not even start on your feet, just rolling it just takes so much stress off the joints. And there is a aspect of older people in life. Be real careful how you learn takedowns and where you learn takedowns.
Yes.
That judo floor does not make it injury-free, but people will stand up a little bit more willingly because the consequences seem to be less.
So that was one of the reasons why New Wave Pro Training was at Roca for so long.
Yeah.
Because they were utilizing Henzo Austin for like open enrollment training, but pro training was at Roca because it does have the spring-loaded
it's
floor.
amazing.
And now, obviously, New Wave has become Kingsway,
Yep.
which is like Gordon's gym, and that is all spring-loaded floor.
What was the gym we trained at there? It was was it Gracie Cedar Park?
Oh, yeah, you went to Gracie Humaida, Cedar Park. That's so...
No, it wasn't Tim's gym. It was Sanjay Hibeiro's gym.
Oh, okay, yeah, because Six Blades is there too.
Six Blades, that's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, string floor as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, it was one of those trips there. Of course, I get invited to judo classes. I don't do judo, by the way. I was really thankful that they had that spring floor there as somebody who was flying through the air. And when I landed, I'm like, this is the last time I walk.
Okay.
And then you're like, oh, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. Because Gracie Cedar Park is... John Carlo teaches out of there, but he's opened his own place as well. Big Dan, that jiu-jitsu giant guy, he actually bought into, I think it's Health Gracie and just north of Austin. He bought into that gym there. I actually did a private with him when I was at TTPOA.
Yeah.
As a big dude.
Yeah, I don't actually think
we didn't roll live that
Yeah.
practice because it wouldn't really have mattered. I mean, I'm the size of his legs, but he did bully me into cold plunging.
Yeah.
And then sauna and then cold plunging. He bullied me into cold plunging.
I had it'll come out this Friday, the guy who started the company Plunge.
Oh.
They do saunas and cold plunging.
Yeah.
He asked me why I don't like it and said I've had enough fun in the cold water. I'd literally rather have a 300-pound Samoan river dance on my ball sack wearing stiletto high heels than cold plunge, but apparently it's good for you.
I'm not a huge fan of cold plunging. If I do, it's going to be in the morning. And like I said, I'm a huge sauna or hot tub guy after training because it makes my body feel better.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dan bullied me into going into the cold plunge.
Will
and then
is
videotaped
almost at the size where I don't think you should actually be allowed to teach him jiu-jitsu.
So he's bullying me into
Because it's bullshit.
driving him up to.
It's just like you're like I am a child next to you, and I'm bigger than most people. Not many people can make me feel that.
Right? Yeah. We trained together at Cape Coral Black Tie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's called in Cape Coral. Corey Brown owns it. He's a no-gi, multiple-time no-gi pans masters. Gold medalist, second place in worlds, 2 years ago? Yeah. Phenomenal practitioner, really, really slick, good, nicest guy in the world, but folds you up like a box. There's a ton of killers in that gym. Like there's a couple guys that are maybe not quite Will's size, but like Alejandro, like Corey just gave him his brown belt. I'm like, thank God you gave him his brown belt because this is embarrassing rolling with him when he's got his purple belt on.
Just kick him out. Like if you're over... If you're like 6'3", 280, no, leave. Yeah. Here's your money back. And if they say why, it's just because you're not built for this.
So I hired 2 full-time instructors. I hired a full-time lead guy and an assistant director. My full-time lead instructor, his name is Matt. He was collegiate level All-American. He's a black belt. He won Masters, won purple and brown belt world champion. He's 235. He's a 6-time semifinalist in CrossFit Games.
No, that's unacceptable.
And he's a physical specimen. So he did the Nashville Open 2 weekends ago because we had a course in Nashville and he was teaching it. And so he does gi. I didn't hear from him on Saturday. And then on Sunday, he sent me pictures of he double golded. I just expected him to because he's a freaking savage. He did adult. He didn't do masters. He did adult. Yeah. And then he sends me a picture and a video of him in gi. And so it was like a guy that was like probably 6'4", 6'6", 265, 270. Oh, yeah,
because he was in the big boy division with no top.
Yes.
It's like, are you 800 pounds? Come on, you're in this division.
Yes. With gi on, he goes, and he'd never been submitted in like jiu-jitsu competition, but he obviously has got a significant wrestling background
of course.
And lots of attributes, whatever. He goes, I've never been manhandled like I did yesterday in gi. And this guy's a black belt and a judo black belt, and his foot like off balancing trip. He was just ragdoll. He goes, he ragdolled me.
Yeah.
He goes, and he submitted me. And I go, how's it feel?
Yeah, welcome to the rest of
us.
us.
But I think it's going to be great for him because one, and another black belt came on, Marcos, who's a 18-time Masters world champion of some sort. He's phenomenal at Sacramento. He goes, yeah, but you got up and double golded the next day. He goes, you're going to learn more from that than you're not. Right? So it was good for him, I think.
The move for that guy, honestly, is to put the no-gi away for a bit and just dive into the gi world.
Yeah. I think he trains gi. I just don't think he's ever trained against someone that much bigger and
where
that
are you going to go? Try to find somebody who's the size of a giant and be like, hey, oh, you haven't trained for 20 years? Never mind. You're no use to me. Like that's not anybody can be big, but big people are big.
Yes.
You pair that with them know what they're doing. I'm sorry. Like people want life to be fair. The fairs in northern Iowa with cotton candy and a merry-go-round, man.
You're right. You're right.
It's, if you come across like big, what's his name? Big John?
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose.
Or no, Big Dan.
Yeah, Big Dan. Sorry, you lost. You know what you need to do? Get on a diet and come into one weight class below.
And he's over 300. Oh, God. Like, he's over 300, but like, he's great. Like, I met him when he was a blue belt and he was amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's a brown belt now. Like, that's why, like, you can only put so much weight in certain belts because there's different levels to different belts, right?
Yeah.
And different levels to people within those belts. Like, your professional guys that are high-level purple belts probably beat the average or most black belts that are hobbyists.
A purple belt competitor will beat most black belts that are hobbyists.
Exactly. People just and that's how it is, and people don't understand it. And like, being able to be around like guys of high level from all different skill levels and high level. They're your top 5 guys compared to like the next 15. That's another level.
Yeah.
Like those, like, don't get me wrong, 6 to 20, those guys are studs. Like if I grapple with them, they're getting the best of me and beating me. But those top 5 guys, unbelievable. Like, and they're just different. It's insane.
Just hit them with your car in the parking lot.
Yeah, like I'm getting really good at avoiding the fight.
Diet down to a weight class they're not in. Just cigarettes and Monster. Just like, what I got to lose 30 pounds.
Let the scale take it.
Yeah, just let the scale do it, and then like you're going to have to skip the absolute.
Yeah, I trained with Tazo. I trained with Tazo one time at Roca, and like that dude is just phenomenal. Like again, there's levels to things, right? Like I wanted to like give him a match. Like I wanted to like it's a 7-minute training round or 6-minute. Maybe it wasn't even time because. Oh, actually, John wasn't there. John Carl was running the training, so there probably was time. But like, John doesn't use a clock.
Oh, really?
No, he doesn't believe in a clock. So like,
of course he doesn't. He also doesn't believe in clothing outside of rash guards.
Right. So, but like, I roll with Taza, and just at the end of that round, I was like thinking to myself, like, you can't hold this guy down, and he's just phenomenal at his transitions, and just like, I'm just like, there's levels to this. I roll with really good guys, and like, then there's just guys that make you feel like you feel like a white belt.
Yeah. That's a good thing, though. I think that for me, that reinvigorates me to know what's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, like maybe just don't take life so seriously.
Yeah. Well, especially at 47. I'm not trying to be an ADC champion or a world champion in adult division. But
I
like,
always just look in the rear.
I still like rolling with those guys.
Yeah. Oh, no, I do, too. Anytime people feel bad about their performance against somebody else, I just say, and I say this to myself, too, yeah, but look in the rearview mirror of your own progression. What really matters is you from 12 months ago, how would that go? Right. And the answer is going to be you're going to kick your own ass.
Yeah.
Like, cool, you're doing fine.
I know.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
What else, man? Where can people find you?
So EFCombatives.com is the website. Our Instagram handle is EFCombatives, and our YouTube is EFCombatives. And please post on Instagram and YouTube now, and we have an app for that
down at some point.
And my personal one's WADSBGJ. And, we're really level 1's running itself now. That is like our level 1 is like your basic combatives program. And our level 2 is like building out a reality-based training, structured reality-based training program for your department or you. And it has a lot more resistance in it. Different pace, but you're running. And we, in that, because we only have limited time, we stick primarily to the box drills and then say, hey, this is how you could build them out into scenarios after. And then Scott and I are just wrapping up. We're doing a 3 or 4 day SWAT course. And it's going to be different. So right now on our cadre, I have 2 full-time instructors plus me. We have about 30 to 35 adjuncts. We have probably 5 or 6 full-time SWAT guys that are black belts as part of that cadre, not counting Scott and I. So talking, we're like, yeah, all the SWAT courses, and there's plenty of guys in the CQB world. There's plenty of guys in the shooting world. Let's stick with what we're really, really good at. But all the SWAT courses that we go to and all the CQB courses we go to don't hit enough on like the combatives aspect of it. And in civilian SWAT, again, the overwhelming majority of how incidents are handled, whether it's dynamic clearing, slow deliberate, breach and call out, whatever, surround and call out, are all some sort of hands-on. We're going hands-on to take people into custody, and that's where we're having our uses of force. So, the weapon manipulation in those things. And so, of course, we're going to have them doing entrances to put them into these situations, but we're not going to say like, hey, Andy, your team likes to dump in and not split the threshold, and you guys are going to crisscross bunt or cross bunt hook or whatever. These guys like to split the threshold and known, unknown, whatever. You guys do what you do as a team. Yeah. As long as you're not dominating your points of domination principles, we're not going to say anything. Now, if someone comes through and it's all jacked up, we can't just be like, okay, run this 10 more times to get to this situation, but you're making these bad habits on the way in. Then we'll have to correct them. But we're not going to correct them to say this is the way of structure clearing. You structure clear the way your team structure clears. And so we're going to concentrate more on that combatives environment. And then we're going to use some UTMs to kind of do more 360 moving and shooting. That's good. So that they can really work on their L-ing and 10-2 and mitigating crossfire. Because, again, SWAT is like Jiu-Jitsu. There's levels. Yeah. And full-time teams have a huge advantage. They're training and doing ops all the time. Part-time teams, because they have the SWAT title, they might only get 1 day of training a month. They might only do 15 ops a year, some of these teams that come to the conferences I go with. But if it's a hostage rescue time, they're going to be held at the standard of a SWAT team. It's not going to say part-time SWAT team screws it up. It's going to say SWAT team. So they're held down at a higher – these part-time guys got to bring themselves up to a higher standard because they're going to be held there anyways.
Yeah, it's what it is here locally. It's a part-time team or an ancillary duty.
Yep.
Yeah, and for smaller departments, I mean, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. So, we're going to try to not reinvent the wheel on what people are already doing. There's plenty of good groups that are handling those lanes. We're going to kind of go like, hey, this is what we've been seeing and what we encountered in our careers and guys that are currently working their careers now, and be like, let's close the gap on where we see the gaps of SWAT training and combatives is. And combatives in SWAT team is different than combatives in like patrol or solo setting. If you're by yourself in a SWAT incident, someone fucked up. Yeah. Right? Like somebody screwed up. Unless it's an act of violence and you showed up first.
Or you run thin.
And you run thin. Yeah. But for the most part, it's going to be a team setting type structure, right? So that's kind of what we're going to concentrate on, and that's going to hopefully launch in 2026.
Sweet.
Yeah. So.
Right on. Yeah. Well, until next time.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right, homie.
Thanks, man.
Yep.